This morning, we have what may be the last video recorded by former One Direction member Liam Payne before he fell to his death. It's this Snapchat video posted hours before the 31-year-old fell from a third-floor balcony at a Buenos Aires hotel. And overnight, we obtained the 911 call made to first responders just moments before his death. Joining us now is CNN's Lisa Respers-France with new details for us. What did you learn about his state of being from these 911 calls?
Good morning, Sarah. What we learned is that the staff at the hotel were very worried. Let's take a listen.
Well, we have a host who is overwhelmed with drugs and alcohol, and well, even when he's aware, he breaks things up. He is tearing the whole room apart, and well, we need someone to be sent, please. That is, under the influence of alcohol and drugs. Yes, sir?
Sí, correcto.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we know that the room appeared to have some damage to it. We see from a photo that was released that it looked as if a TV may have been broken in the room. And as you could hear, they mentioned drugs and alcohol. We don't know at this point what role drugs and alcohol played, if any, in this, but we do know that Liam was very open in the past about his issues with substance abuse and mental health. People are devastated by this, Sarah, because we've known Liam since he was 14 years old back in 2008 when he auditioned for the X Factor before returning 2 years later to audition and become a part of One Direction. X Factor actually released a statement that they put on social media in which they said, "We are heartbroken by the sad passing of Liam Payne. He was immensely talented, and as part of One Direction, Liam will leave a lasting legacy on the music industry and fans around the world. Our thoughts are with his friends, family, and all who loved him." Just so much grieving today, Sarah. People just cannot believe this. He was so young. This was such a shocking tragedy, and it's reverberating throughout the music industry and fandom today.
Yeah, in case people forget, this was one of the biggest bands ever. With their popularity. Lisa Respers-France, it's always a joy to see you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Pop star and One Direction member Liam Payne has died.
You know I love it when the music's loud, but come on, strip that down for me.
The 31-year-old died Wednesday in Buenos Aires after falling from his third-floor hotel room. 911 calls reveal that hotel staff had been concerned about Payne leading up to the incident. The hotel manager saying, quote, "We have a guest who's overwhelmed with drugs and alcohol. He's tearing the whole room apart." Adding, quote, "He's in a room that has a balcony, and well, we're a little afraid he'll do something." New images of that room appear to show a cracked TV screen. Hotel staff noting they hadn't been allowed inside for several days. Fans across the globe mourning the singer this morning.
I can't really believe it right now. It's part of my past, like my adolescence, basically, One Direction. So it's really like there yet. I haven't like processed it yet.
I'm a fan of One Direction since I was a kid. I'm nervous, really nervous, because it's my idol, and I'm shocked. I don't believe this is happening.
Joining us now, Brittany Spano. She's a senior writer for Rolling Stone. Brittany, good morning. Thanks very much for being with us. Obviously, fans, fellow musicians are reacting to this extraordinarily tragic news. What are we hearing from them this morning?
Yeah, I mean, it's such shocking news. Liam was only 31 years old. I think people are still just trying to wrap their head around it, around him being so young, around it being so sudden. I think there were rumors and kind of indications that he'd been struggling for a long time with addiction, with his mental health, but obviously no one really knew the extent of which he had been struggling.
Brittany, One Direction was discovered by the British talent show, The X Factor, and it was back in 2010 that happened. They became one of the best-selling boy bands of all time. After they were no longer together, Payne went on to have his own solo career. Talk to us a little bit about what all that was like.
Yeah, I mean, Liam was the first to audition for the show of the five boys in One Direction. He'd auditioned prior to the 2010 year and ended up coming back and being put together with this boy band. And I mean, we all sort of witnessed the phenomenon that was One Direction. I mean, that's still ongoing. There's still so popular and beloved, as we can see by the responses by fans across the world. And were just on they were the zeitgeist for years. They were on tour, constantly playing stadiums, released these massive albums, and built a huge global fan base. And when it ended, the band all went their separate ways. They all pursued different solo careers, and we've seen different levels of success over the course of the solo careers. And Liam's never really took off, I think, the way that there was an indication he might be able to after One Direction had ended. He released one album in 2018 and a few singles here and there. And so the last few years, it's sort of been up in the air of what Liam would do next in his career and kind of where he would go from there.
All right, Brittany Spanos for us this morning as we remember Liam Payne. Brittany, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
One Direction fans have been gathering to mourn the death of Liam Payne.
Here's what we know so far. Police say the singer fell on Wednesday from the 3rd floor of the hotel room where he was staying in Buenos Aires. Hotel staff had requested urgent police assistance in the moments before Payne fell.
Now, the hotel manager said they were concerned about the well-being of a guest who was tearing apart their room and staff could not enter.
Payne had shared pictures from Argentina to his social media accounts in recent days and appeared to be in good spirits in those videos. He was 31. Fans are heartbroken and shocked at his death.
They won't get back together, and he didn't release anything else. We won't see him again. That was all we had. He won't be here anymore. What will we do now? My God, this can't be.
Payne rose to fame as a teenager in One Direction. The group became a global pop sensation and its members teen idols.
They were the first group to have their first 4 albums debut at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart, and Payne went on to have a successful solo career. Stefano Pozzebon has more now on the circumstances around the singer's death.
Music fans around the world are mourning the tragic death of British singer Liam Payne. Payne spent half of his short life as a pop music superstar. Just 16 when he became a founding member of the boy band One Direction, a product of reality TV show The X Factor, Payne quickly became one of entertainment's most recognizable faces, finding near unrivaled global stardom with One Direction bandmates Niall Horan, Zayn Malik, Harry Styles and Louise Tomlinson.
When you go outside and there's people screaming and running down the street after your car and stuff, I don't want to touch you. No, when people are running after your car and stuff, it's a bit like, that's a bit mental for us to adjust to, as it were.
Together, One Direction sold millions of records, toured the world and built a legion of devoted fans. The band's biggest hit, That's What Makes You Beautiful, became an anthem of early Gen Z culture. One Direction went different ways in 2015 and went on to solo careers. In 2017, Payne became a father to Bear Gray Payne, with then girlfriend Cheryl Tweedy, a former judge on the X Factor UK. Less than 3 years later, Payne released his first solo album, LP1. He also opened up about struggling with his mental health and substance abuse.
It was only until I saw myself after that I was like, right, I need to fix myself.
In March, Payne released what will be his last single, an emotional work titled Teardrops. He described the song as about the vulnerability of heartbreak. Millions of his fans will be feeling just that. Liam Payne was 31.
The feelings that these chords and different things give me, and every one of these songs is a story from my life.
All we do is...
On the money, yeah?
Okay. All we do is break